everyone experiences anxiety. I do, you do, the most confident person you know does, and everyone in between. The first thing to kind of figure out how to deal with anxiety is really defining what it is. Anxiety is just a measure of your lack of experience with something. So, what that means is that the less experienced you are at something, the more anxiety you're going to have when you do it. Now, this can apply to a whole variety of things. It can apply to going to the gym. It can apply to talking to new people. It can apply to talking to girls. It can apply to making a doctor's appointment. The gist of it is that there's no one thing that causes anxiety, and it can be almost anything. As long as you have a lack of experience with something, you're going to have anxiety. And that also summarizes the issue with anxiety, because anxiety holds you back from doing something. But the only way to get rid of anxiety is to gain experience, and the only way to gain experience is to do that thing you're anxious about. Now, that already pretty much summarizes what this video is about, but I want to give some practical, real-world examples for you to really drive the point home of how to overcome anxiety and some of the tactics that I've personally used to help myself out with this. Now, one of the biggest problems a lot of people have is sort of this generalized anxiety, where it doesn't really matter what it is, you experience a lot of anxiety towards that. And I think that comes from how much information we know now versus how much we actually experience things. With social media and the internet and everything, it's super easy to learn about a whole bunch of new topics and a whole bunch of new experiences and things you can do and things about the world. But the problem is that learning about something isn't the same as experiencing it. And so what ends up happening is we know a lot about the world, but we haven't experienced a lot. And so that causes a ton of anxiety, because it's like, oh my God, I don't even know how to exist. Now, one of the best ways to kind of beat this generalized anxiety is just to kind of try new things. So it's literally as simple as pick something you haven't done and do it. If it's taking a walk in a specific part of town, go ahead. That's a new experience. It's going to reduce your overall anxiety. If it's going to a social function that you're invited to when you haven't ever been out, at a social function, go and do that. It'll be a great experience. Even if you suck at it, which honestly, you probably don't suck as bad as you might think. Go and do it. Those kind of things are going to reduce that overall anxiety. Like, every time you have an opportunity, go and do it. Now, some of you might already be thinking, but I have too much anxiety to even go out and try new things. And for that, the prescription that I would give is to start working out and lifting weights. Working out is basically just like a cheat code to always have something difficult to do that you don't have to rely on anyone or anything for. Most gyms now are 24/7, and you can go in and you don't really have to follow a specific program to get the benefits of this. The only thing that I would recommend is that you only do movements that you can confidently perform without having to worry about technique, or if you have your technique dialed in, even better. For people who don't really know how to work out or lift weights, you're best just going with machines. And you can still get a good workout for machines, but that's not really the purpose of why we're doing this. The purpose of lifting weights in this context is to give your brain something difficult that it is doing on a regular basis. That's going to create this effect where, since you're constantly undergoing like an increased amount of stress and continuously harder things, it kind of brings the relative difficulty of everything else down. right? Like if the hardest thing you're doing during the day is building a house in Minecraft, yeah, you can expect to have a good bit of anxiety. Whereas on the flip side, if the hardest thing you're doing during the day is moving like hundreds of pounds of weight, it kind of puts a different frame and a different perspective on everything else you're doing throughout the day. And that's going to really help reduce the amount of anxiety you experience on a day to day basis. As well, it doesn't necessarily have to be lifting weights, it can be something completely unique to yourself. Some people, for example, one thing they do is they just talk to one new person every day. Even if it's just going up and just saying, "Hi, I hope you're having a good day," to someone, that can count, right? It doesn't, there's no one specific thing that's going to work for everyone, right? For some people that, that cold approaching is going to work better. For other people, lifting weights is going to be way better. The real moral of the story is pick something difficult you can do every day or almost every day and do it. That's going to help bring your confidence up in that skill and bring your knowledge up, which is going to reduce your anxiety. And since you're already tackling that of like, okay, I can do things that are hard, I can do things that I'm not familiar with, that's going to reduce that generalized anxiety. And then after that, if you have anxiety towards specific things, just pick something super easy you can do towards that skill or topic and do it, right? If you're really anxious of talking to people, just practice saying like hello to random people. Just when you pass by them on the street, you can literally just say like hi, and by the time they even realize you've said hello to them, you guys are like 10 feet apart. And as well, you can just practice saying like thank you to cashiers, bus drivers, like people who it's a pretty low risk kind of thing where it's like, yeah, you can just say thank you to anyone and they'll be okay with it. To really come back to the main point again, when it comes to anxiety, just go out and do something difficult and try to do it every day or almost every day, and you'll see a very, very sharp improvement in it within a few weeks. Now that's all I really got for you guys today. I've already tried recording this video 3 times, so hopefully this one isn't too bad. The last 2 were pretty bad, so if you got a little bit of value out of this video, feel free to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on any of my other platforms. They're going to be in the description, and talk to you guys next time.